There was one message that altered history: funds are moving. Within 30 minutes, the world would be witness to the most brazen cyber heist in history. This is the insider account of how hackers siphoned $12 billion from the crypto space within less than 30 minutes, rattling the pillars of online money. It began on a peaceful February morning in 2025. Most traders and investors slept, their assets tucked away securely in what they thought were impenetrable vaults. But the scenes, as they say, were quite different. A very sophisticated cybercrime cartel had spent weeks secretly preparing for this moment, testing weaknesses in centralized exchanges as well as in decentralized protocols. The first sniff of trouble was detected on one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges, Dubai-based Bybit. At precisely 3:17 a.m. Universal Time Coordinated, Bybit's hot wallet infrastructure got hacked. Within seconds, 400,000 ETH worth $1.4 billion were vanished from Bybit's reserves. The hackers made use of a leaked private key to override all security measures implemented. Bybit's security staff looked on in horror as the funds were being drained in a series of quick, automated withdrawals, each one timely enough to evade detection from typical anti-fraud systems. But this was still not the worst of it. At the same time, bells started ringing at Japan-based Bitcoin. Their hot wallet lost 4,500 BTC worth $305 million at the time. The Bitcoin hack was swift and ruthless. Officials would later find that the assault was most probably a private key compromise, an assault that had become increasingly prevalent in 2024 and 2025. With time running short, hackers then directed their attention to WazirX, India's #1 crypto exchange. Within a period of less than 5 minutes, $234.9 million were drained from customer wallets. The hackers had made a tool that could attack several platforms at once, with zero-day exploits and years of refined social engineering attacks. Centralized exchanges were not the only ones hit. Decentralized finance, DeFi, protocols, those that had been touted as the future of trustless finance, were hit as well. On Ethereum, a series of flash loan attacks hit protocols such as UBCX and KiloX, pulling $70 million and $7.5 million respectively from liquidity pools. Other protocols, Loopscale, ZKSYC, and Term Labs, were also in the crosshairs of tens of millions more, whose smart contracts were manipulated in ways never even contemplated by developers. All told, over a dozen leading platforms were hacked in the coordinated attack. Each hack was carefully timed, causing havoc and chaos throughout the industry. The hackers took advantage of the inherent flaw in crypto security: private keys. Once a private key is revealed, the funds it holds can be transferred immediately and irretrievably. The majority of exchanges did not even realize what was occurring until it was too late. Withdrawal freezes and crash shutdowns were enacted. On-chain sleuths rushed to follow the stolen capital as it passed through mixers, priv coins, and cross-chain bridges, spreading the trail across hundreds of addresses. When dawn broke in Europe, reports of the attacks were making the rounds. Panic filled social media as the users realized they had lost their life savings overnight. Crypto prices declined in every direction. Bitcoin fell 12% in mere minutes, and Ethereum and the rest of the top coins fell even further. The total value accumulated within 30 minutes had exceeded $12 billion, the largest virtual heist in history. The speed and magnitude of the attack left even the most experienced cybersecurity professionals aghast. Higher profile value had never moved so rapidly with so minimal room for recovery. Bybit's CEO went online, confirming the hack and offering a $10 million bounty for information leading to the return of funds. Police forces across the globe, including the FBI and Interpol, quickly initiated investigations, working in conjunction with blockchain analytics companies to follow the transaction path of the stolen funds. Initial analysis indicated the attacks had the signatures of the Lazarus Group, a North Korean state-sponsored hacking group infamous for attacking crypto exchanges. However, in this instance, the operation was even more advanced in that it involved various teams planning their operations across different continents and time zones. The attackers not only attacked technical weaknesses, but also human ones. They bribed employees of Coinbase to gain access to customers' private data, which they then utilized to carry out targeted phishing attacks. One of the world's most renowned exchanges, Coinbase, lost $400 million and lost a crisis of faith as the public demanded compensation and explanations. In other places, DeFi protocols and smaller exchanges were not able to deal with the fallout. Some of them, such as Mosaic and Prism Finance, lost millions due to targeted attacks that were identical in nature to the bigger attacks. The coordinated approach to the heist implied months of research and reconnaissance work. The hackers mapped out the world's crypto infrastructure and knew about vulnerabilities and fail-safes. For years, the sector had cautioned against the risks of centralization and risks of single points of failure. This day, however, made those warnings a harsh reality. Private key management, the weak point in digital asset security, was behind almost every breach. In 2024 alone, nearly half of all crypto stolen was due to private key compromises. The thieves acted quickly to cover their tracks, employing advanced mixing services and decentralized exchanges to exchange pilfered money for privacy coins such as Monero. No matter the best efforts of blockchain sleuths, few of the cash were ever found. The majority evaporated into the digital ether, beyond the grasp of lawmen. For the exchanges, however, losses were nominal. The victims' losses, however, were catastrophic. Multiple individuals lost their entire net value, while others lost years of savings in a single night. Insurance on most platforms was zero or non-existent, meaning users had to absorb the loss of the heist. Regulators reacted in a series of high-level crisis meetings, calling for increased regulation and improved security standards industry-wide. The assaults reopened discussion about the safety and viability of cryptocurrencies as a mainstream financial tool. There were some calls from industry leaders to return to decentralized, non-custodial protocols, and some to greater centralization and state control. Exchanges were quick to put in place new security protocols following the assaults, such as multi-signature wallets, hardware security modules, and real-time monitoring tools. But for many, the harm was permanent. Faith in the crypto world had been shattered, and years would have to go by before it was recovered. The $12 billion theft was a turning point for digital money, a stark reminder of the dangers of an economy based on code and cryptography. It also drew attention to the increasing scale and complexity of cybercrime, who now operated with the resources and organization of nation-states. Detectives also tracked the money trail while trying to locate the masterminds of the attack and recovering some of the loot. Meanwhile, the hackers were at large, their true identities hidden behind layers of anonymity and secrecy. The lesson for the cryptocurrency world was a difficult one, but one that had to be learned. Security could no longer be an afterthought, but had to be the bedrock upon which all services and products were constructed. Developers started laying emphasis on formal verification of smart contracts, strict auditing, and bug bounty programs to encourage responsible disclosure. Trust, however, once lost, is not quickly regained. The tale of the $12 billion heist was a lesson, a grim reminder to future generations of developers and investors. It was a reminder of the need for endless vigilance, cooperation, and flexibility in the face of ever-changing perils. Finally, the hackers had demonstrated that even the most sophisticated systems are as secure as their weakest link. The world watched and learned as the frontiers of cyberspace were reshaped, one lesson and $12 billion at a time.